Hello everyone, good morning. If you're on the East Coast, it's the witching hour. If you're in the city of Los Angeles, welcome to the channel. My name is Brian Jennings. This channel exists to discuss my relationship with Quentin Tarantino. I am the real reason that he canceled his film, The Movie Critic, last April. And we've been embroiled in what has now become a legendary psychic siege. The two of us are a case study in remote viewing with the most palpably potent psychic connection that any two people can have. It is a beautiful divine thing on one level, if we reconcile. I made a bunch of videos yesterday. I only uploaded one of them. I might upload another one of them. I made 3 videos yesterday. And I had a very shrewd comment from, seems like a great guy. He comments often, says he always watches the videos. Honest Man 6122 or something like that. I don't know the numbers, but Honest Man. And I left a very wordy comment because I was drunk, but it's funny, so I'm gonna keep it. But he asked me about the models. He asked me like how I put them together, or what's the material that I'm using. And so I thought I might start today by just walking you through exactly what I do. If you recall, we're going through this book, Spherical Models, and we're making all of the models as a result of the enlightenment that it yields, which makes any good practitioner a more potent clairvoyant. So the most recent one, which is also the smallest one I've made yet, is this one, which is a perfect little sphere, isn't it? And so this is the rhombi cuboctahedron, where each face of the cuboctahedron is surrounded by squares. And so that's 8 triangles and 18 squares. I don't know why they say rhombi. There's no rhombic faces anywhere. There's a square, and there's a triangle. Those are the only 2 faces. So, right, I seek to express my knowing. I have to begin upon the eternity of the blank page, which is our metaphor, our tangible, manifested metaphor for the seeming blank canvas of space. It's inert space, not dead space. And so I take my instrument of divinity, which is a drafting compass. Right? The reason that they use that, which this is a divider, it's not actually a compass, but the reason that the Freemasons use this instrument as their symbol is because it is the most potent scientific instrument and as well the most important scientific instrument of all time. It yields absolute truth every time and gives you an immaculate wisdom which cannot be yielded any other way. Each one of these triangles, there's 192 of them total, represents an arc on a sphere. It's a spherical model. And so in order to get each one of these triangles, there's 8 triangles in each of the squares, right? 2 on each side, 2 on each edge. And then there's 6 triangles on each triangle, 2 on each edge. So in order to do that, I can use trigonometry. That's one way of doing it. But for this one in particular, I did this. This is the master sketch. And so the Star of David is used to yield a subdivision of 36, 360 degrees. Right? And this is done through the relationship of the hexagon on the inside to the radius of the initial circle, which divides the circle into 18. So going through the rudiments of dividing all of these circles into 36, I then divide each of these into the specific degrees that fold into each of these triangles. And so for this one in particular, it's 24.374, 20.941, and 12.764. For the triangle, and for the square, it's 30.361, 20.941, 22.500. And so if you're paying attention, right, the way that these meet, despite being different faces, is that they share a common angle in the middle, which is 20.941 degrees. And so I have 4 triangles on each circle, right? 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom, which operate as chiral pairs, in antiomorphic pairs, left hand, right hand. So 6 circles, right? 4 triangles each circle. So there's 24 triangles, 12 of each. So from there, because I only need 48 triangles, because there's 8 triangles, I printed out however many copies of this. But I needed 144 of the triangles for the square, because there's 18 squares. So after I cut out all of the triangular faces and glued them directly to this piece of poster board, I cut out all of the square pieces and glued them separately onto this piece of paper. And from there, I made a bunch of copies, not a whole bunch, but I made maybe like 5 or 6 copies, cut them all out, and glued all of them onto this poster board. Then, again, you cut it out again. And so the degrees tell you where to fold it, right? And so then, after I cut it all out, I folded it together, glued them together. Left hand, right hand, they meet, and they define an edge, each of the edges. So it's very time consuming. It took me, just for this little thing, it took 30 hours, 25 hours, 20 hours. I don't know. I always feel like artists exaggerate when they tell you how long it took them to do something, but it didn't take 2 hours. It took at least 15 hours. So that's what I do. What I'll say is I did have a revelation. I had a revelation about like what to do with them. It's like what do I get out of this? Here's a bigger one, cube octahedron, beautiful form. That what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start getting acrylic panels, just or like plexiglass, and building it out of plexiglass, and then I'm gonna figure out a way to put a nightlight inside of it. Like an LED, just a little LED light. And so the trick will be figuring out, it has to have like a cord. I have to be able to glue it to the outside so that it can be a perfect sphere. But I think that's a nice business model. I think people would buy those as a nightlight for their kids. So, right, initially it's on this paper. So this is the master, right? And then I make copies of that, which becomes this, right? Which is cut out and then glued onto this, right? And this poster board is the material that ends up as this. So after I make all of the faces, then I spray paint them, right? And then I glue them all together. You could be more sophisticated with the painting. I could paint each of the triangles. Like say there's 8 triangles in each of the squares, right? I could paint them oscillating. Like I could use 2 sets of 4 different colors, and I can do the same thing with the triangle. I could use 2 sets of three different colors. But who has time? So that's the process. Anyone can do it. The process with trigonometry, if you have to use a calculator to really like get it right, and that's why I was having difficulty. That's why this one is oblate, and it's fine, but it's just not lawful. Right? It's supposed to be flat, right? Like that's a smooth sphere. This is like, I see it as like space age boobs, atomic age boobs. Like Austin Powers bras with bullets coming out of it. So we're one day away. The next model, the last thing that I'll say about the model is the next one would be the rhombicosa dodecahedron. which has three different polygons. It has a triangle, a square, and a pentagon. And so that will be exceptionally time consuming. But we're one day away from Quentin getting his Lifetime Achievement Award. And he still resents me in a big way. The mornings are always tough because when I wake up, boom, we're right there. I suspect, maybe not all the time, but number one, I feel like he has people watching me constantly. And number two, even if he doesn't, he wakes up soon. And I don't live that way. There's nothing I can do about his decision, but I haven't remote viewed him for 300 hours. He's remote viewed me for 300 hours, him and the people around him. And I know that he must grow weary of just swimming in an ocean of bile as far as lying perpetually. I know that he has some sort of order or group that all understand exactly the fucking shit that he's into. As far as right, esoteric, remote viewing, psychic occultism. But I'm into it too. Not by choice. I could have just done nothing. But something within me compelled me to reveal myself. And it's hard. It's hard. He resents me. I was trying to read Order in Space earlier, and he doesn't want me thinking about these things because of the enlightenment that it yields. I know that we have to come together. We have to love each other enough to move on. But I have to talk about it until we're reconciled, or until one of us is dead. He went too far. It's too evil. It's the most disgusting evil siege. And so anyone who's interested in what's been occurring, I recommend my video, A Plea to the Pope. And I put that shit online because anyone who crosses that line has lost their immortal soul forever. If there is such a thing as hell, that's where you're headed. And I know there's not. No heaven, no hell. The atheists are right. When you go, lights out. That's it. And so there's two ways of interpreting that knowing. The first of which is that nothing matters, everything is chaos, there is no divinity in the world, etc., etc., etc. Nihilism. The other way is that all that is divine is all that never changes. Therefore, all that is pure, all that is ideal, all that is noble must by default not be alive. This is the point. Right? So you could say that you're going back to the nothingness that emerged, that you came from, or you can say you're going back into the eternity of God's omniscience, which brought you forth for a time and gives you a blanket to rest within for another time. So, I suppose I'll stop. There's no need to go on and on. I'll probably make another video later. I'm not going to hear from him. I know I'm not going to hear from him. If I was going to hear from him, it would have been by yesterday evening. He gets, I don't know, I guess he gets some sick kick out of this. Out of like just keeping this, boom, right there. Right, that this is like he's interested, and I get it. Like it's like the ultimate spell. Right, he's interested in cunning. He's interested in guile. Right? He sticks his nose up at me and turns his back on me when he wants me to talk to him. So, pray for me. Pray for Quentin. Pray to bring this to an amicable resolution. Otherwise, it's just an ugly psychic siege. God bless.